Hey, what's up guys? Rob here. Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, where we put a positive spin on your gaming news. Today, I'm going to be talking about whether or not Nintendo should get rid of the Gamepad for the Wii U. Okay, so as you could probably tell from the title of the video and from my introduction, it's a pretty straightforward topic I'm talking about today, and for that, I actually have a pretty straightforward answer. No, absolutely not do I think that Nintendo should get rid of the Gamepad for the Wii U. It's a really weird, strange conversation that people seem to happen continually. Luckily, less and less with the renewed success and interest in Nintendo after E3 and how awesome that was for Nintendo. But still, it's something that people still kind of discuss like that is a relevant topic or that it makes any kind of feasible sense. And far be it for me to totally slam anyone for their opinions, because everyone has the right to their own opinions. And that's a wonderful thing. I love supporting that idea, but this is something that is really hard for me to get behind or see the purpose of. And so this topic was really inspired by the fact that there was another video I saw recently, actually two different videos, where the idea came up, and they weren't really necessarily, trying to slam Nintendo or dog on the Wii U, but one of the things that was brought up in both of these videos was that maybe something they could do to further bolster their renewed interest and, gain the kind of success they're probably looking for would be to just get rid of the gamepad and drop the price and da-da-da-da-da, and there's your success. And I'm just like, man, god damn it, no! Why do people think that that's a good idea? So that's what inspired me to talk about this topic today. And here's the caveat I should give. Even though I say, yeah, why would anyone think that's a good idea? That's so stupid. And I mean that, at the same time, I actually sort of do understand why people say that. I just vehemently disagree, because I think that that is a completely stupid business decision on Nintendo's part to actually do something like that. So I do, of course, like I said, understand why people say that yes, Nintendo should get rid of the gamepad. The obvious reason is because not everybody wants a touchscreen and motion sensing in their video game controller. They seem to like the idea of just the regular old gaming that we've been doing this whole time with regular old controllers. Now, of course, there is a place for that. I myself love gaming with regular controllers. I've been gaming for, just over 30 years, and I'm used to that. And so I absolutely love playing with a DualShock or an Xbox controller on my PC. All that stuff is fantastic. So, of course, that's how gaming's always been, and I still love it, and there will always be a place for that going forward. But when it comes to the Wii U and the gamepad, I feel like people need to open their eyes and open their minds and be receptive to these really great, awesome ideas that the gamepad makes available to us. That's a wonderful thing, and I think it's a shame that people can still have their minds so closed down and the scope of their vision so narrow that they can't see why this is a wonderful thing for gaming. It blows my mind, because I simply don't think that way, and I mostly associate with other gamers and friends who also don't think that way. So when I come across it on the internet, excuse me, which can be, of course, very, very common, it's honestly just kind of depressing, And even more so when the discussions happen centered around Nintendo, because Nintendo is my favorite company. The Wii U is right now my favorite gaming platform, and I anticipate it being that way for a long time. The gamepad, here's the point that I want to get to. This is the crux of the argument and what really inspired me to want to make this video. The thing is, with the Wii U specifically, the gamepad is the defining factor. We know that the system isn't as powerful as its direct competition, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So, being that it's not as powerful, it needs to have something else to set it apart and make it worthwhile. One of those things is the games. We know Nintendo has that. We know the Wii U has that and will continue to have it down the road. And that is the most important thing. Let us not forget that. Ultimately, the most important thing to any system is the games available for it. And even then, the exclusive games. The Wii U has it on lockdown. But other than that, what else makes it worthwhile if we know that it's not quite as powerful as the other two systems, even though it is powerful enough in its own right? And I will never downplay how much power the system really has, and I think it's too bad that people do that. But I'm not going to do that. It's a powerful system. It's next gen. It is what it is. But again, the PS4 and Xbox One, significantly more powerful. That's okay. And why is that okay? Because the Nintendo Wii U has the gamepad, and I think that the gamepad is the thing that defines what the system is. Yes, it is the Nintendo machine. So yes, it's got your Zeldas, your Metroids, your Marios, Star Fox is coming, Pikmin's great, all these great Nintendo properties make the system's library unique and what it is, and that helps sell it to gamers. But the gamepad is the thing that Nintendo has used to define why the system is unique and why it sets itself apart from the competition. I mean, I love the PS4 and Xbox One. I love those two brands. I really like Sony, and I'm also a Microsoft fan. So I'm not going to dog those guys, but dude, they're the same damn thing. Let's get down to business. They've got a few, properties and IPs that are exclusive to them, but for the most part, they're the same thing. They're doing the same things. They've got the same power. You have 90% the same library on both systems. Even the great games are still multi-platform. So they may have good libraries, but they're not unique libraries. And I think that's the key factor. Nintendo has a unique library, A, because they have their Nintendo first-party stuff, and B, because the gamepad means when a developer is willing and unlazy enough and creative enough to take their time to make a really great game using the awesome functions the gamepad makes available, that game can really only work on the Wii U. Hence, it can only release on the Wii U, which means the games that you're going to play on that platform are going to be unique to that platform. And I mean, let's get down to business. What makes a system have its highest value? What it is you can only do on that system, which of course means exclusive games. Now, I love Sony's exclusive properties. I love everything Naughty Dog does. Uncharted is a fantastic, phenomenal AAA series. The Last of Us is probably my second or third favorite game of all time. God of War is absolutely amazing. Little Big Planet is one of my most hyped games for this year, and so on and so forth. When it comes to Microsoft, I am a gargantuan Halo fan. I've talked about that many times on Rule of Two Review. Cannot wait for the Master Chief Collection and cannot wait for Halo 5. Gears of War is one of my favorite shooting franchises of all time. We know that Microsoft owns that now, and we'll probably be seeing a new one soon. And there's probably some other good ones. I mean, even the Xbox One has like Dead Rising 3, which is not console exclusive, but it is Xbox One exclusive. And Sunset Overdrive, another game I'm really excited to play. Titanfall is another one that's exclusive to PC and Microsoft platforms. So there's good stuff going on with both of those systems. Again, I love them both. I support Sony and I support Microsoft as well. But there's a reason that Nintendo has remained my favorite company throughout all of this whole time, ever since I started gaming in the 80s, is because they think outside the box and they at least keep themselves unique. Sony and Microsoft are just like cardboard copying cutouts of each other, and Nintendo is not. They're unique. Now, of course, there is the backhanded effect of what they do with things like introducing the gamepad, kind of sacrificing some of the next-gen power to instead have this gamepad feature available to us, can alienate some gamers. And that's why people have the conversation that sparked this conversation for me, where they say Nintendo should get rid of the gamepad, because they don't understand it sometimes. Sometimes they're like, I don't know why this happens. I wish the Wii U was just had a regular controller and cost $50 or $60 less or what have you. I don't want the stupid gamepad, blah, blah, blah. And that's why that does that. So I understand that there's the negative kind of byproduct that can happen from these kinds of decisions from Nintendo. But at the end of the day, I think it's still worth it to maybe sacrifice the few closed-minded gamers that aren't willing to try something new and still present something awesome and unique both to developers and to gamers in the form of something like the gamepad or Wii U remote or, of course, the 3DS and all these other cool things that they've been doing this whole time throughout history. They've had some bombs. Obviously, the Virtual Boy was something that just sadly didn't work out. And I own a Virtual Boy very proudly, and I can admit it's not a good system. It's not cool at all. It's this great sort of enigma in video game history, and it's a great collectible, but it wasn't a good system at the time. And I remember when it came out, it was never a good thing. But I think the Wii and the Wii Remote were fantastic. And I think the Wii U is even better. It's a great machine. And honestly, I love the fact that when I'm playing a really good Wii U game, whether it's Super Mario 3D World, well, that's not really a good example because it doesn't use the gamepad. Let's say Pikmin 3 or Zombie U, a third-party game, or The Wonderful 101, a third-party game. Those games are fantastic because that gamepad makes the experience better and at least, if anything, more unique. And that's a really, really cool thing. I think that it should not be undersold. And I want more and more people to understand this. I think that when you talk about removing the gamepad from the Wii U, you just talk about the newest system in 2014 that even I will admit doesn't really have just the raw power to hang with the competition. High-end PCs and the PS4 and the Xbox One do have enough power they do have enough of a power advantage over the Wii U to really make the Wii U really not seem all that compelling overall when you remove the cool factor of the gamepad. Again, the Wii U does have amazing games that would still continue to help the system sell, but I really love and admire the fact that Nintendo is dedicated to the gamepad. They have said they will never get rid of it, and I think that is so smart. What does the Wii U become without a gamepad? It's just a significantly underpowered next-gen machine that can't do some of the great things the other systems can do, and it has nothing else to kind of back it up or set itself apart from the competition. It becomes I hate to say it, but it just kind of would almost become irrelevant. And that's a scary thought. Nintendo, I think, knows that, which is why they're sticking to their guns. They're never going to get rid of that gamepad. They said they won't, and I believe that they won't. They will never do it. Luckily, like I said earlier in the video, E3 was super successful for them. They've had a bunch of great games that have come out for the system so far. They have a bunch of great games coming out, and they've said over and over again, we're going to start focusing more and more of our efforts on making sure that the gamepad is utilized in games cleverly and also justified in its existence. And I think that's a wonderful thing. We know that Nintendo's going to do it. We need other third-party developers to do it. Kudos to Ubisoft for making Zombie U and the Wii U version of Rayman Legends, because those are fantastic examples of the gamepad. Kudos to Platinum Games for the Wonderful 101, one of my all-time favorite games. Great gamepad usage. Bayonetta 2, also by Wonderful 101. By Wonderful 101. I'm sorry, let me try that again. Bayonetta 2, also by Platinum Games, is going to be using the gamepad. There was or Splatoon is first party. There was another one. Oh, X, Monolith Soft's X is going to be using the gamepad. So there's really cool things to look forward to there. That gamepad is the difference maker. It is what defines the Wii U. That's really what it comes down to. Like I said, in wrapping the video up, I know why some people who feel alienated by Nintendo's ideas don't like the gamepad. But you got to understand that is what defines the system. When you pay $300 for a Wii U, you're not really paying just for the next level in graphics, because it does have better graphics than the last generation, but not by a huge leap. That's not what you're paying for. You're paying for a little bit of a graphical leap, but mostly you're paying for this really cool controller that is offering cool things to do with your games that the other systems and the other guys aren't offering you. That is a unique gaming experience that you get with the Wii U. It's the unique gaming experience that we've always been getting from Nintendo. And I think it's a wonderful thing that they offer these things and keep some sort of fresh and unique and quirky innovation within the gaming industry. When you pay more money for the other guys, you're paying for this crazy extra raw horsepower. And that's great. I'm getting a PS4 pretty soon and an Xbox One soon after that. And I can't wait to have these other really powerful systems that are going to do some cool things and have some great games. But I'm going to still continue to play my Wii U the most because I love that controller and I love Nintendo's games. And that's just the way it's going to be. Now, the next video that I'm going to make is going to be discussing something very similar to this topic that I think you guys will hopefully also enjoy. I'm going to talk about how gimmicky Nintendo is and if they really are as gimmicky as some people think. So it's going to kind of be sort of a second part or even a sequel to this conversation in this video right here. So keep an eye out for that in the next few days. But overall, I think it's important to, again, leave you with the opinion that I'm trying to state. I think that the gamepad is a great thing. It's getting utilized more and more as games start to come out. We see that developers, when they're creative and they can show that they have the imagination to think outside of the box, can make great games and great gaming experiences using this cool, unique controller that is only available on one of the 3 next-generation consoles. It's a wonderful thing we have available to us. It's not for everybody, and that is okay. If it's not for you, it's just not for you. But I do at least recommend you really try it. Go out of your way, play the Wonderful 101, play Zombie U, play Pikmin 3, play Call of Duty Black Ops 2, not Ghosts because it doesn't use the gamepad very well, but play Black Ops 2 and play Rayman Legends, because there's great gaming experiences out there if in fact you're willing to think outside the box and try them. Okay, and that's it for the topic today. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe to Rule of Two Review. Follow the links below to the Facebook page and the Twitter. If you like the video, you should like and share it. Share your comments about the subject below. Thanks again for tuning in as always, and of course, I will catch you on the next video.